Welcome back for another build episode of Upgrade or Unload It. This episode we are working on a Mark 7 GTI. This is Matt, this is his GTI, and give me a quick walkthrough of what you have done to the car.
Yeah, so it's a 2016 Volkswagen GTI. All I have really done is the wheels, a little bit of visual mods for the mirror caps, the front emblems and rear emblems, and then I have my Rally Armor mud flaps. But otherwise, it's a stock car.
Okay, I'm digging it. I do like carrying the two-tone through with the GTI red line. I always thought that was cool that they started putting those on the cars. So I think it comes together nicely. We basically have a full bolt-on project planned in the works. So if you've ever heard FBO on Facebook or forums, full bolt-on. We're going to touch basically everything in front of the turbo and behind the turbo, including the software, including the suspension, and we'll be well in excess of 300 wheel horsepower, maybe even around 350 by the time we're done. So let's send the car to the dyno, we'll get some base numbers, and let's get started.
All right, we got our GTI off the dyno and we got our numbers. We came in at 222 horsepower and 274 foot-pounds of torque. I think with our bolt-ons, we can really get a lot more out of this, so let's get to work.
All right, we're gonna get started with the front mount intercooler. There's really two different types of options when it comes to this kind of project, and we chose to go with the front mount from ARM. I like this kit. It comes with all our piping and connectors. Of course, I only have a few on the table, but it's nice coated piping, multi-ply connectors, and that's going to live in a conventional front mount intercooler location in front of all your AC condenser stuff. Also on the market and in this space is something like the ECS drop-in intercooler. This goes in the OEM location behind the AC condenser, but you can see there is quite the size difference. Both of these perform the same function in different ways. Tell me, why did you go with the ARM?
So I mainly chose the ARM intercooler because I really like the look of the front mount intercooler. Kind of gives that nice sporty look to the vehicle while still providing a great increase in power.
Let's slap it in.
All right, let's go.
ARM sent us this great intercooler. We were very excited to use it and set up a front mount. But our car has this module, which the GTI owners among you will recognize. This is the adaptive cruise control sensor for the front bumper. And it unfortunately hangs right here, which is precisely where the intercooler goes. ARM specifies on their website this intercooler does not fit that. Matt was not worried about retaining it, but as we looked at what it took to delete it to make room for the intercooler, we have decided to pivot away and we're going to go a different route. This kit is still worth mentioning, especially if you don't have the adaptive cruise control module. It's a really nice comprehensive kit. It comes with all the bracketry you need to secure it to the car, which goes in convenient OEM locations. It has the connectors to adapt from the Volkswagen style to the ARM style, all the coated piping, multi-ply couplers, and of course a really dense core. So it's a bummer we're not going to be able to fit this. We're going to go with the one that we showed in the beginning of the episode. LOL, I suppose that's full circle, but we're still going to get an intercooler on this. We're still going to get a full bolt-on setup. You've seen the time lapse. We made pretty quick work of the rest of this intercooler install. Now we're on to the only complicated part of the build. We have to support this whole assembly that holds the intercooler in from the bottom. Now, we're conveniently working in a shop with the lift, so I'm gonna roll a toolbox under here, lift the car up, put it down. Bob's your uncle. If you're doing this at home, you need a buddy with some milk crates, car jack, something like that. It's not complicated, but you just have to support it so the AC condenser doesn't give you any drama when you go to pull the cooler out and put the new one in. One other top tip here is Matt is doing a little, no gosh, not murdering them, but just tracing the bolts so that when we go to align the radiator support after we swap the intercooler, you basically just have to go to those marker lines. Now that's going to make installation a breeze. So I just want to be sure we showed that because that's a super easy top tip here. All right, so we have all the intercoolers out. We wanted to show you a little bit about what we're doing here with everything out of the car. So this is the stock GTI intercooler. You can see just how tiny that is. And then this is the direct fitment that we make here at ECS. So you can see it has very similar mounting styles, very similar end tank designs, and it will just go in place of the factory one. But the benefits of the front mount are that this ARM front mount also way thicker. I mean, look at that versus that. So it's way thicker. You see denser fin design inside. You can almost see 2 rows if you can make it out. 2 rows of fins. When you look at the OEM cooler, it's only 1 row of fins. So you're getting a lot more efficient design in the ARM front mount, and it goes in front of the AC condenser, which we just got done finagling out. So little bit of a different flavor for everyone's vehicle. Unfortunately, we can't use the ARM one because of our adaptive cruise. So we are going to use our ECS in-house designed one. But there you go. So sort of comparison, so you know what to shop for depending on your own needs. All right, we're rounding home base. How do you feel?
Getting there.
Getting there. I would say so far we've got maybe 2 hours of actual work in. We gotta stop and go for film. But one of such examples is now you can see those paint markers that he left us, see how much droop we have here. So when we go to bolt this on, we're just gonna lift that up, line that up, run them in, and our alignment job should be much easier.
All right, and we're back for day 2. We have the Cobb exhaust here. It's the nice titanium exhaust to have that nice raspy sound. And then we have the carbon fiber engine cover from them as well. That'll look really nice in the engine bay along with their new intake.
So we're basically doing Cobb day today. So with your exhaust, while we have that off, we are gonna add an APR rear sway bar. I think this was a really good call of yours. I think these cars are a little understeery out of the box. So I think if you're a spirited driver.
Exactly, which I am. It's gonna be a lot nicer in the turns.
Yeah. So sort of complement everything, we also have the Cobb access port. This is basically the chip tune. So if you aren't familiar with that kind of stuff, we'll slap that on the car. That should add most of the power. We gain a little from the front mount, we'll gain a little from the air mods, but really to take advantage of everything, we're gonna use the access port as the chip tune.
It's gonna make it a lot faster and it's gonna be a lot more fun.
Yeah, and I think this is an achievable single day project.
Yes.
5-minute job. We are back from lunch, and one of the best things about working with your friends on cars is, one, Matt did most of this and I helped a little bit, but you can see all the nice pretty carbon fiber in there from Cobb. But coming around to the back, our buddy Scott has already got started on the exhaust section for us. And look at this, look at this. This is not something that I would do when I was helping somebody out, but he even like left everything in an organized fashion. He left us some tools so we can put it back together while we're all being lazy at lunch. He's back here wrenching, so thank you. And here is the factory section out, the sway bar out. And just as a tip to you guys following at home, we very purposely decided to do the sway bar with the exhaust at the same time because it does sit above the exhaust, so it's one less step we have to do.
So we got the 2 sway bars right here, the APR one and the OEM one. You can see the thickness difference there. Really nice benefit of this one is it's gonna help with understeer. So with the engine being in the front, having a thicker sway bar in the back is gonna help a lot with that engagement going around corners.
All right, Matt, what are we doing? Looks like you're assembling.
All right, so putting together the sway bar, we're gonna have the bushings on there so we don't get any squeaky noise. We're gonna make sure you get lubrication inside of there so you don't have any rattling around.
And then what do we got here? These look like new
Miley end links. So these are gonna go on the ends first. We're gonna just mock them up. And then once we get the sway bar installed, we're gonna get them fitted onto the car.
Okay, sounds good. For the chip tune, it's pretty straightforward. Cobb does send a clever little mount so you can mount it wherever you want in the car. Matt already does have a phone mount of sorts, so we might end up using that location. But it's super straightforward. Tunes are already loaded on the access port. In fact, there's a sticker to that effect on it. We're gonna slam it in with the OBD2, connect the access port, and upload the chip tune. Okay, so that's day 2 done. We probably worked 4 hours.
Maybe.
We had a little bit of help from Scott. Thanks again, buddy, for getting the stock exhaust off while we were eating lunch. But the new exhaust went on fantastic. Cobb's mounts all lined up. You added that rubber mount over here.
So Cobb gives us an additional hanger here for the Cobb system. On the stock GTI, it does not have any grommet in place, but this is utilized on some of the Golf Rs for just different stock catback systems.
What do you think of the exhaust so far?
Well, it's beautiful, super light. It's super easy to install. That's one of my favorite things about it.
I agree. It was very easy to install. The titanium lightness, I think, helped considerably. I like how it fits on the factory section. I'm very curious to see what it sounds like. So you guys are gonna hear first start with us at the same time. First start, baby. Hear that diverter valve coming up through all the hard carbon. I'm pretty happy. Let's go see how it drives. I don't mean this like with hyperbole. I think the Mark 7 might be the best car to build, period.
Super easy to work on, very easy to access everything.
The dollar per fun factor is definitely there. All right, I'll shut up so we can hear your car. Is that some wheel spin, eh? Not too loud, no drone in the cabin. What do you think? It's your car.
I love it. I love the induction sounds from the new intake. The light exhaust note that you have at idle isn't too loud, and while driving, it's beautiful. It's one thing that I was worried about, is having a super droney exhaust, but this I have no concerns over.
Let's let it rip. I agree. I got nothing to add. Let's just let it rip and have some fun. Enjoy our hard work. You're gonna get a speeding ticket. Yeah. Today we are doing brakes. In front of me are some very exciting products that I'm excited about. These are our V5 rotors. These are our newest generation in evolution in our rotor technology. As you can see, they have that black anti-rust coating on them. They are going to look sweet in the wheel well. That black coating is going to make them fade away and not necessarily stand out. And then as the pads wear down on the rotor surface, you're going to get that high gloss poke. So you're going to see that big rotor surface. It's going to hide all the hat. And of course, it's going to prevent rust, which is really the main reason they're on there. But I think that dark combo is going to be sick. We're also going with some Hawk street pads. Well, they're aggressive street pads. The 5.0 and the HPS, really good combo for some aggressive street driving, but really low dust, really low noise, which is why we chose them. So it should be pretty straightforward. It's just me today. Let's get started.
All right, so another day on the Mark 7. Today we're doing the short shifter, doing the front to back and side to side portion, as well as the mile HD end links.
We're gonna replace these old worn out factory sway bar end links with these new upgraded Miley HD end links. My favorite feature about these end links are they come with an actual flat spot for a wrench on the inside to grab when you're installing and uninstalling, instead of this triple square that often strips out or you don't have a triple square to fit in there. Well, on Miley was smart and came up and put two flats inside of here, so you have no problems installing or removing them in the future.
It's Carbon Fiber Day. We are on day 4 of this build. It's all coming to you in one spot, but we wanted to show you what it takes to build a full bolt-on car, you know, all at one time with a bud. So I'm super excited. Carbon Fiber Day is like my favorite day.
It's super exciting.
We have a few goodies. So we are going to fit a prototype carbon fiber front lip. And if this looks good and we like how it adheres and everything, you'll see that come into production soon. We have some in production already, mirror caps. These are actual full replacement carbon fiber mirror caps. We have already out released in the world carbon fiber rear diffuser. I really like this, especially compared to some of the alternatives, because it has all the mounting tabs that locate it and snap in. Installation is really firm on this, super, it's a breeze. And then we have a carbon fiber trunk spoiler, and this is actually the redesigned version. So fitment is going to be a little tighter on this than some of the previous models. I'm excited. This should be super straightforward. We're going to be working with a lot of 3M tape and some nuts and bolts through the holes, but this is kind of like the easiest day of the build so far.
I'm excited for it, that's for sure.
All right, we finished our full bolt-on on this MK7 GTI. Unfortunately, Matt's dealing with some health stuff, so he's not here to join us, but we hope for a speedy recovery for him. We threw this thing back on the dyno after our stock numbers, and we got an astounding 301 horsepower and 359 foot-pounds of torque out of it, which is a major jump from our stock numbers. We're really pleased with how this turned out, and we know Matt is too.
So I have to say, the GTI has been amazing since all the new modifications. With the new induction and exhaust notes, like, it sounds awesome. The new Cobb tune as well just really brings the car to how it should have been from the factory. Paired with the new handling that it has from the APR sway bar and the new Mile HD links, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Visually too, like, this car looks beautiful. It's got the carbon fiber engine bay, the mirrors, or mirror caps, I guess, and then the wing and the splitter. It's beautiful. Beautiful. I really couldn't be happier with how it turned out.
Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check back for more enthusiast content.